Will, appreciate you taking the time to let us get to know you.
Yep.
I think we have to point out the obvious that we have paintbrushes in our hands, blank canvases,
Yep.
because this is PwC Tax and we do Tax Reimagined.
Well, out of kindness to the canvas, I might as well leave it blank.
You're from Liverpool,
I am.
so I feel like the first obvious question is, are you a Beatles fan?
I'm a Beatles fan, but I'm actually a much bigger Liverpool soccer fan.
Okay. From Liverpool, you went down to undergraduate at Cambridge.
That's right.
And then from there, you went stateside to law school. Where did you go and what influenced that decision?
So I went to UVA.
You had to be painting while we do this.
Oh, I do. So I went to UVA. I went to the University of Virginia.
Okay.
And the reason why I went there was because my old college at Cambridge gave me the money to do that.
Okay.
And so I said, but okay, well, thanks for the money, but where should I go? So we recommend a small program, somewhere like either UVA or Cornell. So
Cornell is in north of New York.
That's right, that would be the one.
And did they ask you how you felt about snow?
So I applied to both.
Okay.
I got into both, and I then went back to them and said, so which should I go to? And they said exactly that. They said, how much do you like the cold? And I said, not much. And they said, you better go to UVA.
Probably a smart decision.
It was a smart decision.
What job first brought you to DC?
Well, it was actually my wife.
Oh, okay.
So as my mother had confidently predicted, when I went to UVA, within a couple of weeks I met Michelle.
Okay.
And so by the end of the year, we were fairly certain that we were going to get married.
Your mother actually predicted that you would move to the States, find an American, and marry.
She was totally convinced of it.
Okay, sounds like a smart woman.
She was smart but not happy. Yeah.
Okay, I can imagine. You've always spoke so highly of when you're in government. Obviously, you worked at the Treasury as well as the IRS.
Yep.
What was so great about working for the government?
They were both fabulous jobs. At the IRS, I got the training that I'd actually never got in private practice. And then the Treasury was just brilliant. That was such a fun job.
Sure.
Because there you were in your 30s, I mean, with a capacity to mess things up, to be absolutely certain.
Okay.
But you had influence. You were writing regulations.
Sure.
You were
actually able to impact things.
That's right. You were working on legislation. And then there was all the politics of it as well.
Okay.
It was great.
Moving on to a slightly personal moment. There's actually something that you and I have in common.
Yep.
In that we are both ordained ministers.
We are.
Although, to be fair, I'm more of an ordained officiant with one wedding under my belt, versus you're actually an ordained minister in the Church of England. So first off, how many weddings do you have under your belt? And second, what influenced that decision to join the church?
So I've done 6 or 7 weddings,
Okay.
and I love doing them. They are the most fun things.
And what do you love most about them?
It's just the fact that everybody's happy.
Sure.
I mean, it's the one occasion in a church life, other than sort of a christening maybe,
Okay.
baptism, where people come and everybody wants to be there.
Sure.
I meet with a couple 7 or 8 times before the wedding, once a month.
Okay.
And just getting to know them and getting to see their
Sure.
stories is fabulous.
Makes it very personal,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And how did I get into the church? I
Yep.
thought about it very hard when I was an undergraduate, and I didn't follow it through, but it had been in the back of my mind.
Okay.
And when I was in my 40s, a wise priest pushed me back into it. My wife didn't think it was wise, but pushed me back into it. I did what I'd said I'd never do, which is a night degree in theology in this case. And I was ordained 10 years ago and joined the clergy team of an amazing church in London, St. Martin in the Fields.
Okay.
And it's been a remarkable experience.
So one of the things that you actually shared with me before we re-enrolled in artistic paint school was that one of the hidden benefits of being a minister was that you were able to actually embarrass your children.
Oh yeah.
From time to time.
Oh, that's good.
It must be a family trait for you guys, because I actually reached out to your children and they readily gave up a few maybe embarrassing or inside scoop things about you.
Yeah, they will do that.
Yeah, and one being that you are particularly good at telling dad jokes.
Ah.
And of course I use the word good with air quotes. So
That's
I feel like we have to hear a couple of those.
So I love dad jokes, or what they call dad jokes. Anyway, I just call them jokes. So
Was that the first joke?
that was not the first joke.
Okay.
But well, they would say it was, but it wasn't. So the first joke is, so what's big and red and eats rocks?
Big red. I don't know.
A big red rock eater.
Oh, jeez.
And another one. So here's another of my. This is my perhaps my almost all-time favorite. What is the difference between a buffalo and a bison?
A buffalo and a bison. I can't say that I know.
Nope, you can't wash your hands in a buffalo.
There's just a collective groan with
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one.
It's a good groan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Where are you're most happy?
I'm most happy when I'm at peace.
Okay.
And I guess there are probably 3 types of places where I'm at peace.
Okay.
The first is places like this.
Absolutely.
Where there's a landscape that stretches on forever and you
Sure.
just sort of, you can empty yourself out into it. Second is when I'm listening to music,
Okay.
classical music for the most part. And the third actually is sometimes when I just sit in church and the sun streams in through the windows.
Sure.
And it's just a real feeling of peace.
Yeah. Who inspires you or has inspired you throughout your life?
Oh, that's easy. That's my dad.
Okay.
Just firstly, a remarkable lawyer, a much, much better lawyer than I could ever be.
Okay.
But also a guy who lived out his faith in the workplace, and that's just been inspirational for me.
What's some of the best advice you've ever received or advice you've given your children?
Be flexible. Just, wait for opportunities to come along. I have in no way really planned out my career. Just opportunities have come along, and I've tried to take them.
Sure. Well, I was going to ask you what you'd be doing in 10 years' time, but judging by our progress here, I think it would still be here painting these pictures.
Yeah.
I think we'll let you off the hook.
Well, it definitely won't be painting.
Well, thank you for being a good sport, and we really appreciate you taking the time and letting us get to know you.
You're very welcome.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Yeah, and feel free to take this home to give to your children as a
no.
thank you for giving all that inside information.
Yeah, I insist that you take it.
Great. Well, thanks again, Will.
Thank you.
All right.